Hello, hello, hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
How you doing, sis?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in
You
there.
know.
Yeah, it's that time. Once again, we want to thank everyone. We always start by thanking everyone for viewing,
Comments,
comments,
shares.
shares on everything that we've done in the past 3 weeks. It's actually been 3 weeks. We're on our fourth week already.
Yeah.
Can you
Moving up
believe
on a
that?
month already.
Coming up on a month already.
Boy, time flies.
Almost a month.
Mhm.
We also want to talk toward the end too about what our plans are moving forward with reaching out and seeing what your responses would be meeting in person. But we'll talk about that later on. But today we're going to talk about moving on,
Moving forward.
moving forward, moving on, moving forward, blended kind of all together, which is a very, very difficult topic because a lot of times when you say moving forward or moving on,
You feel like you're leaving
you're
that in the past.
right, and you're not.
No.
You're not. So let's put a perspective on that when we say moving forward. So, your thoughts on moving forward?
Mine on moving forward. Um, we had the conversation earlier this week, I think it was, how we would love to experience the joy and happiness that we had before we experienced the sorrow. And we talked about how, you know, you'll never be that person again.
No.
Um, so, in a sense, it's moving forward, it's moving on. Um, and I say you'll never be that person again because you've experienced your love and it shaped you, molded you, created this new you. And so there's no way you could get back who you were before without erasing, that part of your life, which is impossible.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing about it is, you're trying to find this new norm, and this new norm is still linked to your sorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the new norm? Is question number one. Ask yourself that. What's the new norm? And moving forward, where would you like to see yourself be in the next few months, the next year? So, for me, I'm still trying to find this new norm. It's very difficult when you, once again, have lost your soulmate. So, you find activities and you keep yourself as busy as you can under all circumstances because you find that when you're not busy, you've got time to think.
Overthink.
And you overthink. You overthink about things that you know you shouldn't continue to think about, but you don't have a choice. You overthink. You overthink for the known and the unknown. You try to mentally be prepared for the known and the unknown. Because remember, you've lost your soulmate. So any and everything that goes on in your life, you're completely responsible for.
It becomes a daily process, a daily task, so to speak. Okay, you wake up in the morning and you're literally like, okay, how is today going to be? Am I going to be sad? Because you don't know throughout the day, you can experience so many different emotions throughout one day.
One day.
You can wake up in the best of moods. By midday, you can be in a valley. Next hour, you might be up again. It's so crazy. And when they say roller coaster of emotions, that's exactly what it is. It's a roller coaster of emotions.
It's a roller coaster of emotions, but beyond the roller coaster of emotions, once again, we all have hearts. And at the end of the day, no one under no circumstance, with no one, ever wants grief in their heart, because it never leaves. It's always there. You put a band-aid on it, but it's like most things, band-aids come off. Band-aids can come off. So at the end of the day, the bottom line is, where do you continue to allow your grief to settle? Where it doesn't prompt you to be stuck in an area that's not mentally healthy for you, physically healthy for you. Where do you figure out in your life to settle the grief?
Where?
How do you interact with the people around you?
Yeah.
Because there are people, here is the thing with that. There are people that are in your life whom are grieving too, in a different way. There's all types of grief. I say it all the time. What I may feel with my grief, what Danielle may feel with her grief, and what someone else may feel with their grief, depending on how and who you lost, is completely different.
Mm-hmm. It's different types of coping.
It's different types of
dealing
coping
with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a different thought process for each type of loss.
Completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
Like, say you lost your mom. That's a different relationship than, say, you lost your husband or you lost a sibling. It's a different feeling altogether.
It's completely different. And,
But grief nonetheless.
Right.
Yeah.
It's grief nevertheless. Now, so we always like to be pretty much honest when we do our Understanding Widows video. And from last Friday to this Friday, or basically, it has been a horrible week. I mean, for both of us. It's so crazy how you feel that you're a little bit further than what you are, and you don't know what prompts it. It just comes. But it's been a horrible week for both of us. So we have been the balance for one another, this week. Calling,
how you doing, sis?
How you doing,
texting,
doing all kind of things, whatever. And it's good to have that, because you need it. It doesn't stop your tears. It doesn't stop your pain, but it kind of helps you kind of get along the day. And then you take your mind someplace else. You start thinking about things that you possibly, or no, that you do have planned. Mm-hmm. You think ahead. You try to think ahead of activities that's coming. Now, granted, the summer's coming.
And we've been trying to fill our calendars.
And our calendars, they're getting there. I mean, we're doing
good with that.
Yeah, we've been putting things on our calendars and trying to figure out what it is we want to do, or whatever. But
just to stay busy.
Yeah. Or whatnot. But my question this evening is, how are you moving on? Mm-hmm. How are you moving forward, shall I say? What is it that you're doing in your life other than spending your one-on-one time with our Father above, our Heavenly Father? What are you doing in your life to move forward? Yeah. Here's what I say to myself sometimes, though. When we find our soulmate, we find them. You love them unconditionally and they love you too. You are so linked and so connected. The bond is unreal. My bond with my king was unreal. Like, we were just bonded. He knew what I thought. He knew what I felt without me even saying it. It was the same for me with him. But at the end of the day, when you literally sit down and you think about it, what kind of perspective do you put on it in life to move forward? You know that you're not going to have what you have with that person. You may meet someone with similar, that have similar, but you know that it's going to be different. Person doesn't know much about you. You have to get to know people.
What's your favorite color?
The
dreaded questions.
The dreaded questions that we all don't even want to
like flowers.
So you focus on many things, and you ask yourself many questions, because trust is something that's earned. Love takes action. and sorry needs change. Those are my 3 simple rules in my life. Now, here's the thing. If I was to sit down and have a conversation with someone, those 3 simple rules may sound easy, but they're not. Remember what I said. Love needs action. So if at any point in time you decide that you want to move on and you want to invest, because whenever you invest in what you're doing, invest in your time and what you're doing, your time is of value, right? So then when you start to do that, what comes next? Trust.
Trust.
So how do you...
And you want to trust until they give you a reason not to.
Right. You want to.
Trust is on the table in the beginning.
You want to trust. That is so true. But sometimes when you've given trust to people,
Cut.
We're gonna cut. Anyway,
It was a head scratcher.
right. It's a head scratcher.
Oh my goodness.
So I say that to say, your defense mechanism, it goes way high. You have a barrier that you literally, you kind of put up, because you don't want those boundaries or those barriers to come tumbling down. Because one thing that you don't want is more hurt added to your heart. So you put this barrier up and you ask yourself, do I ever want to let this barrier down? What do I want to put in it? Okay, here's my thing. I've always said for me that my husband and I were an investment to one another. We invested in each other's love. But when you get to be a certain age, investing into someone that's not ready to be invested back into you and putting in the work to try to figure out which direction they want to go, that's too much work. I'm not willing to do that. I don't want to do it.
Because as widows, it takes us a while to get to the point where we want to step out there. Me personally, it took me 7 years to even
consider
it. So once we do, it like I said, that's such a big step for us to get to.
It is.
Because that's part of that moving forward, moving on. And it's like I said, I have to be honest, in the beginning for me, the thought of moving on with someone else, it was just like, no, I can't do this. In my head, I was cheating on him. And it's just like, so it took me 7 years to even think about the idea of dating again or moving on, or, and not so much with just moving on with dating, just moving on with your life, period. Overall, having fun again, doing things that you consider entertaining, with friends, family, that moving forward is just such a big step to take.
It is.
Yeah.
And then you think of, so as widows, I think about my family a lot. Because my family is grieving. I think about my brother-in-law. I think about my mother-in-law. I think about my family. He touched a lot of lives. He touched a lot of lives. He really did. And I really, really always think about his best friend. Call him Freddie B. Fred Bell.
Hey, Fred.
Hey, Fred. That's my brother from another mother, let me tell you. Him and my husband were good friends for 50 plus years. I'm talking best friends. Worked at the same place, which Fred is still at UPS, but they shared a very, very close bond with one another, and he's been great. My heifer Jeanette, she's been great too.
Hey, Jeanette.
So we've had some really good friends in our life, or whatever. But I pray for them all the time because you want to know how they're moving forward. So I guess my question tonight is, what are you doing in your life to move forward with your grief? Have you sought counseling? Do you have people around you that really, really care? That's the question tonight. Do you have the people around you that really, really care? Because it's hard. It's hard to determine. It's hard to figure it out.
Who's going to be there to let you have your moments of, you know, your days, your good days, your bad days, you know, you like we said before, you know, that support system. So you need someone to push you almost, so to speak, you know, keep you from going into that darkness. Someone you can make plans with, travel with, concerts, go out to dinner. We were fortunate to have that. You know, we both love to stay busy, to go and keep active, and we, you know, enjoy going to dinner, movies, concerts. You know,
yeah, we just go, you know,
go.
and it's difficult though because you don't have that person opening the car door for you or letting you out by the door, and you know, it's just so many things that you become accustomed to.
The new normal.
It's the new normal. And so, you know, you find yourself on your guard all the time, more than ever, you know, because you just feel like the world has stopped to a certain degree.
And it pretty much did. You know, that's the feeling you have, like it stopped. Yeah. Your world as you knew it with your husband stopped. It did.
Everything.
Yeah.
Not just a few things. Now, you know, I hope that these videos that me and Danielle that we participate in weekly, we've gotten a lot of feedback that they're helping people. I hope that they are though, because we just want to let you guys know that this is not an easy journey. It is nothing about grief that's easy at all. And you so want it to go away. You want to move in a direction where you just want it to go away, but it's always at the back of your mind, whether it's your husband, whether it's your mom, whether it's your dad, whether it's a sibling, whether it's even a child. It's just always at the back of the back of your mind. You smile, but it's at the back of your mind. Everything you do is like, at the back of your mind.
Certain things you laugh at, it sometimes takes you back to, oh, we laughed at that before. We laughed wholeheartedly at that before. So it's sometimes little things that'll take you back. And just when you think, you know, you made a step ahead, something throughout the day can happen that'll knock you 2 steps back.
2 steps, yeah. Sometimes 4.
Yeah, sometimes 4, 6, 8, you know. Yeah. But, you know, finding the strength and the courage to move forward, it's a daily job.
It's a daily job. And it's really hard to explain to someone that's never lost someone or
significant.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain if you've never experienced grief so dramatically. You know, like I said, everybody handles it different, but this is a whole different situation in my life, in our life, you know. And we have bad days. And that's the thing about it. There's nothing you wanted to go away. Sometimes you wake up, you just want it to go away. You wish that it would go away, but it's still there. So our question once again tonight is, how are you moving on?
Yes.
What are you doing? What is it that you're doing to try to move forward? Spending more time with your family, traveling, going to church more, reading your Bible more. So I say that to say this. I did ask God this one question, and I asked him this just recently. When I tell you I loved Chris unconditionally, I love that man unconditionally. And he did the same for me. Were we giving God his time? We were. But I feel that we could have given him a little bit more. Because remember, we serve a jealous God. And I sometimes ask him if I loved him too much. Was I taken away from the time that I was supposed to have been giving God? Did I just love Chris so much that even though he knows my heart and knew that that I would give him his praise, was I giving him enough? Because now I find that I do. I read my Bible more. I pray more. Nevertheless, not saying that I wasn't doing that when I had Chris here, but I do it extended now. God wants his time.
Mm-hmm.
He wants his time. And sometimes he has a way of bringing and getting our attention to let us know, you're going to serve me one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point in time,
we never know what his way of doing that is.
Mm-hmm. Lord knows I hate that it had to be taking Chris from me, but I give him his time. I give him his time and I give him his praise. And even being said, I still, at some point in my life, I question why it all happened.
I read somewhere it said, be grateful for the wounds that push you closer to God. Not to say that we're grateful for the death of our spouses at all. But like you said, we never know what it is he's going to do, what his plans are to get us closer to him.
To get us closer to him.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we get so caught up. We get caught up in our life where sometimes we forget none of this is happening without him.
Mm-hmm.
Having your health, having your children, having love in general, literally that all comes from God. So when we have a tendency to just keep moving forward with our life and not focusing on the reason that we got here and thanking him for being where we are today, he has a tendency to get our attention. Mm-hmm. He got my undivided attention. Undivided attention. And so it's to the point for me that I just feel that now that you have my undivided attention, what's my next journey? Where am I supposed to be heading? I need him to get me to understand which way I'm supposed to be going. I think that I'm on a good track, but I'm not sure.
And, we, even before that happened, we questioned throughout our lives, what is my purpose? What is our purpose? And I do believe that, what we're doing here is a part of God's plan.
I do feel that. I believe that it's a part of God's plan, or whatnot. But I also feel that along with this plan, we never intended on being alone.
No, absolutely not.
This was not a part of my plan.
It's still hard to accept that.
It's very hard to accept that.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, we didn't plan it. We didn't expect it. It's hard to face it sometimes. Day to day, you wake up in the morning and you're just like, okay, God, what? What you got for me? You really question it sometimes, and it's hard to get to a place where you accept the loneliness,
And and this is the part of your life where when I say moving forward and moving on, that you get real deep into your spirit to find out. You should know by now who you are, but with grief, it really have you focus on who you are. You become this new person with this new norm where you're already hurt. Your heart's already broken.
We thought we knew who we were.
Yeah. Yeah. You learn real quick. You
learn how strong you can be.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of think of, you meet a new you. What you want in life, how strong you can be, how vulnerable you can be. It's so many different facets to yourself that you don't realize exist within you until you're faced with certain situations. And it wakes up different parts of you, and you really get to know yourself in that alone time. And being alone, it's bittersweet. You're lonely, but at the same time you're getting to know yourself. So
but the thing about it is, though, through grieving, the one thing that I'm very grateful for, you got to be smart. You have to be smart in so many. Let me tell you, you have to be smart. You have to really, really understand what your new norm is now when it comes to people. You do. And we're grateful for one another.
Absolutely. Oh
Yes,
my
we
God.
are.
My daughter was telling me, y'all just like.
I can't with her. I can't with her.
Oh man, if you could see her text to each other.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man, it's
We
hilarious.
be cracking each other up sometime,
to keep each other going.
Keep each other going and keep each other
and
busy.
I pray that anyone who has experienced loss in any way that they can find someone, like we have each other, just somebody to just keep you going.
Yeah. Just
check
keep it
on
going,
you.
check on you and all that good stuff. So here's, like I said, we're gonna come on every week. I'd like to find out from you guys. So we've done 4 sessions now. We'd like for people that have viewed and that are interested to reach out to us, because we want to do a meet and greet in person. We want to find out who's interested in that. We're trying to move forward. So reach out to us, inbox us, reach out on our Gmail, our Facebook page,
understandingwidows@gmail.com.
Facebook page, Understanding Widows. Reach out to us. We want to move forward, and we want to, like I said, we'll put a plan together. We'll find out. We'll see who comes our way, who's interested. Yeah, we'll see who's interested. And once we get that information, Danielle and I are going to put a plan together, or whatnot. We've been getting a lot of feedback, or whatnot, and I just can only say that I'm so grateful for it, even through all my grief. Once again, I feel that I am helping someone, that we are helping someone.
It's rewarding.
It's rewarding. It really is. So, reach out to us and let us know what your thoughts are on that. Let's try to put a plan together to get together. We will get the place and let you know where. And let's just come together and introduce. Let's talk. Let's figure it out. Now I do understand that grief can be very touch and go. Some people
want to be private
with it or whatever, and they're going through a depression. We're trying to pull you out of that. We pull each other out. But let's let's work on pulling you out of that. Let's try to see how we can do with this thing, and let's try to see how we all can kind of move forward.
But in the meantime, let's leave you with thinking about how you want to move forward.
Yeah. What's your goal? Sit down and spend some time with yourself, and let's figure out how moving forward is important. Let us know the feedback on that.
Yeah. And I'm Danielle.
I am Candace with the C.
And an I.
Right.
And we'll talk next time.
We'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.